Okay, so we're going to be concentrating on this part of the painting here now that the sky is dry. So I'm just going to show you the colours I use and mix up some paints. And as I think I mentioned before in the previous videos, we need to knock this back a little bit so that there's not too much fighting with the foreground when we come to do that. So we're going to add probably a little bit of white, probably a little bit of blue just to cool that down. But I'll show you on the palette now. I'll try and have the palette up on display just so you can see me mixing the paint. So what I've squeezed out here, we've got some sap green, got some titanium white, some raw sienna and a bit of the azure blue. So we're just going to start adding a little bit of the white to the sap green there. I'll probably also add a little bit of the raw sienna there as well. Again, this sort of bits, they will just help to knock the colour back a little because you just do not want it to be too strong. As I say, it will fight with the foreground if you do that. So what we'll do, we'll put the colour on, we'll see how it looks, and if we need to take it back a bit, then we'll do that. Excuse any noise you get from my rattly old chair here. But we're going to start over here. Most of this tree line at the back here will disappear behind the foliage, so you're not going to see any of that. So I'm going to start around here. So that's a little bit too yellow, a little bit too light. So I'm going to mix a bit more of the sap green in. You can add some black sometimes just to darken that back off again, or a bit of hooker's green. I'm just going to add just a little bit of black because we don't want it too light. It just needs that suggestion of it going into the background there. Colour mixing is something that will come with time and experience, but hopefully I'll be able to show you some of the tricks and techniques that I use to kind of mix paints. And you know, you can start off with the kind of the colours that are mass produced if you like, and then you can just adjust them by adding little bits of other colours, or you can start mixing, once you're more confident, you can start mixing your own greens, and you can do that with blacks and yellows and blues and yellows. And again, I want to impress upon you, don't worry about making mistakes. It's all part of painting, all part of learning. So don't worry if something goes on wrong. You can overpaint once the paint's dry, but you should be looking at your photograph at this point, assessing how close they are. Now I can see that I need to darken off this just a little, but you can see I'm extending it up into the horizon here, and this is why I painted down below what would be the tree line, because this bit here is where we can start having the sky poking through the trees, which suggests, it basically makes things look more realistic. So just a bit more of the ivory black into that as we go along here, and then probably a little bit more of the blue, touch of the white. So just keep assessing, keep looking at your reference image, and as we go into the distance, probably even add a little bit, touch more white into that, just to help knock it back. You can see I'm just scrubbing the paint on at this stage, just to get a covering, and then as we come up the top, we'll refine that somewhat. Okay, so we just got the basic colour in there, and then what you'll look in your image, you're looking for all the differences in tones and colour, and then we'll start lifting those out. There's a little hedge running there, so I'm just going to leave that. And as you go down towards the base of the trees, it's generally going to get a little darker where it's in shadow. So we'll start to add that, but I'm not going to put any of the real fine details in just yet. We're just getting a basic colour in. And you can see with the colours I've mixed, that should be knocking it back a little bit. For the brushes again, I'm just using a soft haired filbert brush. I find those work nicely for foliage. But when we get into the little bits at the top and the detail, I'll probably show you a different brush that I'll be using, which means you don't have to pick out every single little bit of detail. So I'm going to add a little bit more white, a little bit more blue into this mix. And just remember, it's not, the trees are not solid. Where the light hits it and bits of shadow. So we're just going to suggest that now with here. But as I mentioned before, you don't want to be, unless you want to be a photorealistic artist, you don't want to be slavishly following your photographs. I think, you know, it's good to have a little bit of your own kind of creativity and personality into the pictures. So I tend to kind of just use the photos as a guide and then kind of just build things up from there. So I'm going to switch to a smaller brush here, because I want to put in some of the darker shadows. I'm not very well organised here apparently. But yeah, I'm just switching, I don't know if you can see that. Just a smaller brush, and I'm going to put in some of the darker bits of shadow in here now. So in there, so a bit more of the sap green, a bit more of the ivory black, darken that off. So I'm constantly referring to the reference photograph at this point, just to see where those areas are. And this part, you're not going to be fiddling about with fine rigger brushes, that kind of stuff at this stage, because you're not going to see that much detail. I mean, the photograph, I can see a reasonable amount of detail, but in a painting, I'm not going to suggest too much of that, because the more, you know, the detail's all going to be in the foreground. You don't want your eye pulled to the back of the painting the instant you look at it. So this is about just defining those areas of light and dark at this stage. And then we'll basically add some of the finer kind of details in the top to make them look more like trees. But at this stage, I'm just going for the general tones and colours, just trying to get it as close as I can. Still using that mixture of sap green and ivory black. But really, with realistic paintings, it really comes to life when you're adding those finer details. So even at this stage, you're not going to strive for too much of that, but as we get into the latter stages of this painting, you'll really see it start to take shape. As I'm painting this, I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to show, whether these videos are too long. I mean, let me know in the comments what your attention span is and whether you want to see the whole process with the commentary. I mean, I don't know how helpful it is, or whether you prefer to see some of this time-lapsed and sort of sped up. Because some of the stuff, I think the commentary is worthwhile. If you're really interested in learning these techniques, I think it's probably worth hearing how I approach things. So you can see here, you know, we're just establishing the dark areas and the lighter areas here in the background. So no real finesse, no real detail at this point. That will come. Again, I'm just referring to the reference photo at all points. We can see a bit of a darker area in there, so a bit more ivory black into the mix. To strengthen that. And if I feel like it's not been knocked back enough, then we'll reassess and we'll look at the colours again. Okay, so you can see there we're really starting to apply the oil paints to really slowly build up the layers. What I'm going to do is just show you how each layer develops. So if you want to follow that progress, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of the new lessons, because I'm going to aim to try and produce 1 to 2 videos a week just to keep the momentum going on this particular painting. So please do follow along and hopefully see you in the next lesson.